Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
The post-Civil War landscape of the American West offers escape and opportunities to many new immigrants who come to the country's shore. A few of them brave the journey to the camp town of Missouri Crossing, each looking for a new lease on life in the Dakota territories. Join the settlers of Missouri Crossing, including Gregory Smith, played by Joaquin, Sister Margaret Miller, played by Monica, Bjorn Hagman, played by Chris, and Craig as the keeper of arcane lore, as we explore the horrors that await us on Down Darker Trails. Been about a week or so game time since the last time we played, so I just allowed the players to roll their skill checks. So we're going to go see what our checks have changed on our character sheets. So if we can start with Gregory. Joaquin, what are the updates for Gregory's sheet?
So Gregory, he managed to improve his fighting skill by 7 points, bringing it up to a total of 47. Then his listen skill got the same treatment, from going from 23 to 30. And finally, he got finally got some psychology, so above the base, to 14 total. And that's it.
All right, Chris. And what are the major changes for Bjorn's character sheet?
I have bumped up my intimidate to 64%, and I have bumped up my psychology to 55%. So my other roll I passed, so I didn't get to update it.
All right. And Monica, what's Margaret's character sheet looking like now that we did the rolls?
Well, there are quite a few changes for Sister Miller. Her medicine skill has gone up 2 points and is now 42. Her persuade has gone up 4 points. It is now 34. Psych was increased by 7, so she is now at 37. Spot hidden went up by 5, so she is at 35. And last but certainly not least, her intellect went up by a whopping 10 points, so she is now at 90.
I'm sorry, your intellect? You actually did, intellect's not a skill, so that one.
I don't know. You had me mark it down.
Well,
you want me to skip it?
Yeah, you actually. Yeah, your base attributes, they don't go up that way.
You got it. I'll leave it at 80.
Sorry about that. All right, so it's a week later, as we mentioned, and we're opening on a brisk Sunday morning for the Catholic Mass that has been gathered. You all gathered inside that great tent that the church is currently using, and in the candlelight, you could see Father Nas's breath as he utters a Latin for the eulogy of the word. It's a bit awkward later on as you rise for the processional and go up to receive communion. You form a couple of lines just to make it go a little bit faster. And Margaret, it's really awkward for you as you're presenting the consecrated Eucharist to first Bjorn and then Johann behind him. So there's probably a couple glances exchanged there. Afterwards, you have the burial service for the mystery woman following the main service, and Boss Thompson stands beside the now full grave, only digging it a few days before. Georgie Smith had sent word to Major Forsyth of the 4th Cavalry, who returned the message that he is willing to meet with the group. Rumor is he will be in camp along with the patrol this coming Saturday night for the impromptu harvest festival that has been kind of springing up. It seems to be like a local tradition since the camp town's only been around a couple years or so, basically just getting bigger and bigger every year. Basically one last hurrah before it starts to snow, celebrate new people coming in. Pharaoh tournament scheduled over at the Silver Dollar, and the horse have been told to be on their best behavior as there's going to be a dance in the town center. So you're all kind of gathered around outside the funeral as the poor woman is being lowered into the ground. And Father Nas speaks over her, saying that although she's not known, she's been giving the honor of the Christian burial just to save her immortal soul. Was anyone wanting to say something or do anything during the service?
I think Bjorn just can be quiet while it's going on. I'll take that as a no then.
Yeah. Margaret, Gregory, anything you wanted to get up to?
Not during the service. No, I don't think so.
No, I think she would just go with the mass, and she didn't know the woman, so she doesn't really have any words for her.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So one by one, dirt is kind of piled onto her as the faithful among you help to bury her. And then people are just kind of milling around for a bit because it's after Sunday Mass. And this is like one of the few times that like the little local community you have gathered around has to kind of mingle and like make small talk and make plans, because usually during the week you're all doing hustling and bustling, trying to get your homes ready and trying to do whatever work you can and whatever final preparations you have for the festival and then for the winter that's creeping slowly in. So I'm going to say scenes on you guys.
I'm going to sideways glance at Sister Miller, like to avoid like getting bombarded. And I'm going to go up to Gregory and ask him, like, when's your brother going to be arriving?
Probably not too long. He's still sober, but yeah. So I don't imagine it'll be for too long.
You've been thinking about,
but there seems to be a tension between you and the sister over there.
and I just kind of look at her sideways again, just trying to like doing that awkward, like seeing if she's talking to anyone. And then I look back to Gregory and I'm like, well, she doesn't like some of my habits. And I guess my boy tried to sneak over there to the silver dollar, if you know what I mean, for his spacer instincts.
Ah.
Yeah.
And Gregory he just like sort of shuffles like, you can clearly see he's not quite sure how to react to that.
I know, and I'm just like looking at him the same
so
way.
He's just, oh.
To me, though, there's other things to worry about, especially the conversation we had in the silver dollar. You put much thought to that?
Well, I thought about it, but I came to the conclusion that, yeah, obviously the men there are up to something, but it seems that for at least for the poor woman we just buried, it seems they weren't involved with that, based on how they reacted, at least.
We could always find out more.
We could, but I would prefer it to be less. Don't make anyone break down weeping this time.
Well, Mr. Freeman has showed back up on camp.
And you actually see Russ Freeman kind of like waiting off to the side, kind of making eye contact with you as you and Gregory are having this conversation.
So I think maybe tonight you, Mr. Freeman, and I can maybe pay a visit to the Jew wherever he resides.
Very well.
Have a talk without so many prying ears around. Maybe he'd be more open to sharing more information.
That would be nice. And again, just try not to be. Don't go full whatever that was last time.
And I just kind of nod slowly, and then I'm like, "Have you put much thought into trying to get to your brother to put some kind of elected positions here? Maybe put a word in with the government?"
I've talked to him about it. I don't know how much he's actually listened.
He did mention that Major Forsyth and some patrol will be in town.
Oh yeah.
On this for the Saturday night Harvest Festival, and that they're willing to have conversation with you about such a thing.
So I relayed that information to Bjorn. That we'll have something. We'll be able to get something legitimate set up, at least somewhat legitimate set up, or get the ball rolling around that time.
You planning to step up if that does happen?
Gregory is quiet for a minute, as then he just sort of, I think I will actually, yes.
I kind of just pat him on the shoulder. Seeing that there's only a handful of us who are privy to what is out there, I just kind of like motion to outside the borders of the city, just kind of hand gesture.
Mm-hmm.
So how about this? Mr. Freeman and I will come by your cottage tonight when the sun goes down, and maybe we can go, we'll go visit the Jew.
That is a plan.
Probably go talk to Sister Miller. Maybe you can calm her down a little bit. And I just kind of like walk off and wink at him.
And at that point, Gregory will groan a little bit, just be like, of all the things I expected to face when I came out west, this is not one of them.
The wrath of a nun scorned.
and getting in between apparently some kind of pseudo half lovers spat.
No,
thing.
bro, not on my part, man. Like she's fucking. I don't know.
That's why it's not quite the same. It's close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
So yeah, he will go over to Sister Margaret.
So, Margaret, do you see Gregory approaching you after his conversation with Bjorn? And he comes over there. He removes his hat probably. And I'm going to say scenes on you once again.
Sister?
Hello, Mr. Smith. How are you doing on this fine morning?
Well, I'm doing okay. I'm not good at this. Bjorn asked me to tell me about what the little incident, and he sent me to try and make peace however I can.
Oh, I see how absolutely mature of him to send an adult man on his behalf. Well, I'm afraid I really have nothing to say to Bjorn regarding the incident with his son. Or perhaps he was speaking about another incident. I don't know what he has told you. But if he has something to say to me, he knows exactly where I am. And if he doesn't want to say anything to me, he can very well say it to God, who really ultimately will forgive him. My word means nothing.
Gregory is just like holding his hat to his chest, just looking very uncomfortable at this. He's just... women, sister, he'll just sort of like try to speak for a bit and just good day, sister, and he'll just make his retreat because he doesn't know how to deal with this.
Oh, Mr. Smith, one thing before you go, she's gonna kind of reach under her habit and pull out a small parcel that she's wrapped up in old newspapers. She's going to hand it to him, and she's going to say, a certain gentleman loaned something to me. I believe you may know of him. He is behind the washing areas, usually out a bit more down the river. His name is Pete. You may have seen him perhaps around the local watering holes. And
oh, yeah, I know Byron Pete.
Yes, Mr. Pete. Would you be so kind as to return this to him? He's a bit rambunctious, and I wouldn't exactly trust being alone with him. It was just something that he dropped off, something I really should have returned a lot longer ago. I was going to have Mr. Hagman do it, but I think you're better for the task, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Do you mind if I ask what's in it?
Oh, it's just a book. If you recall, when we were, making our way here to the settlement, there was a talk about this strange occult book. I hunted it down, and it just so happened that Pirate Pete had it. He loaned it to me. I wanted to see if there was anything strange in it. Just some old man's, blabbering tales of travel. Nothing interesting. But in order to give it back, he was demanding certain carnal payments that I refused to give. So if you could just return it to him on my behalf, I would be eternally thankful.
Oh, well, no problem. What kind of book, huh? It sure is like not interesting, you say? I would have thought some kind of fancy witch book would be at least a little bit interesting, if even just...
Yeah, out of character.
Just this man's travels.
Out of character, you're giving the book to the guy who actually enjoys reading at night.
I'm well aware. Mr. Smith, it's really sort of a traveler's tale. This man was all over the world, the new world, the old world. And it's just sort of a journal documenting his travels. None of it really makes sense. It's a lot of blabbering. He seems to think he's a mystic of sorts, probably a snake oil salesman. You know how they are. He has some silly spells in the back somewhere, really nothing, that could yield anything. Meanwhile, of course, she's written those spells down for herself. But it's just a gentleman's travel diary is all.
And Gregory, he'll definitely look at the package and sort of heft it around a bit just to sort of feel the weight of it. He's definitely considering not returning it. he hasn't decided to not return. He's considering it. Just you're, you're I know what you're doing out of character, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not he would give in to the temptation.
Listen, if anybody here fails sanity rolls like a boss, it's you.
Well, but if I go too fast, then it'll just be you and Bjorn left behind just to deal with your angst.
True, we need a good mediator.
Okay, so Gregory will. Yes, I'll see if I can hand it off to him sometime soon. I have a lot of work, so I don't think I'll be able to get it to him right away.
That's certainly not a problem. I've held it on longer than I should have, if I'm being honest with you. I don't quite think he misses it. I doubt, given his state, he even notices that it's gone. But, I don't want to accidentally steal it. So if you want to have a read, by all means, it's really not that exciting. But as long as it gets to him at some point, if he comes to me asking for it, I'll just let him know that you have it and we'll return it shortly.
Well, all right. Have a good day, sister.
Have a wonderful day, Mr. Smith.
And then we'll pan back over to Bjorn as Russ Freeman is making his way over to him.
So tonight, Mr. Freeman, we're going to meet up with Mr. Smith and we're going to go have talk with the Jew.
I see. What sort of talk is this? Oh, because I need the ink to be dry on that deal I made with Johnny Welkstetter and his brother on my herd.
Well, it might be more of a frontier kind of talk, if you're catching my drift.
I understand, and I've been thinking a lot about what we talked about, and I'm in. Just conditions. I would definitely be the silent partner in this trade. I know your purview to how things worked with Sam Baker and myself. It just seems best, if you understand what I'm meaning.
It's your call. Either way, there's a man coming from the Union Army here. I'll be talking to him maybe about official government stand-in positions. Would you be interested in that too?
Yes, sir, I think I would. My other condition would be that any of my boys that want to join up, temporary, permanent, that we give them a fair look. Yes, even Sam.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think we're good. We start off with a commercial side of he's thinking of the word like a security service, yeah. And then if we become official through the government, then we could do that too.
See, yeah, that was my other hang-up, was how we turn this into just community protection into a sort of living for the boys.
Well, you said there's a man buying your cattle, there's establishment here, and to be honest with you, I think the people who work with the Jew there in Silver Dollar may be, I don't know, strong-arming some folks maybe. Got that kind of vibe from my lawman days.
Perhaps, but I have a feeling that we can't completely alienate them.
No, not at all. Right now, though, I'm concerned about this woman who died, and there may be others, because how that man reacted, he seemed acting peculiar. I want to find out who killed this woman. That's my first thing. And it's for my own personal reasons, just doing the right thing, but
I understand. Well, we'll meet up here later tonight then.
Good, yeah. I'm going to stop for a second. How many of your men are looking for work right now?
Couple.
We'll talk tomorrow. Sure. We'll see how tonight goes, and then we'll talk about them tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, that'd probably be best.
All right. I just say I shake his hand, before I walk off.
Yeah, he holds the grip firm for a bit, and then he lets it go. So in the distance, Margaret, you notice that you're being kind of observed by someone you know pretty well, but you're not sure if she's seen you yet. You notice Carol kind of lurking in the distance.
Is this still after the funeral?
Yes, like the services portion is pretty much wrapped up at this point, and people are kind of just milling around, socializing.
Okay. Sister Margaret is going to shake someone's hand, kind of do the sign of the cross over them, and then make her way over to Carol and just smile and very politely reach out to hold her hands in a comforting manner. Carol, how nice to see you. How can I help you today?
Well, Mrs. Smithson, she says and kind of smiles. You wanted me to meet someone?
Yes. And she gets a little awkward because I believe it was Bjorn that she wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so she kind of shifts around a little bit and says, the gentleman that I wanted you to meet, Mr. Hagman, has unfortunately left for other business, I'm afraid. I wish I could have gotten message out to you, but well, I was here.
Yeah. Out of character, he's still kind of there, but are you like kind of like steering her away from him right now?
She's kind of looking around to see if he's already left because she could tell that, he was talking to Gregory and, she kind of knows his mannerisms. So the way he was presenting himself was that we're going to get stuff done sort of way. So she figures that after, he finished his speech with Gregory, he was going to do something.
Yeah,
so she's kind of looking around to see if he's still there.
You see him like shaking hands with Russ Freeman, and then the man departs. But Bjorn could still be there if he needed to be.
Okay, so then she's going to kind of scan the room, see Russ and spot Bjorn, and kind of raise her eyebrows a little uncomfortably and say, well, actually, I'm afraid I may have misspoken. It seems as though he is here. And she kind of like gently points out Bjorn and says, he's a former, sort of man of the law. And I figured if there was anything that he could assist us with in this investigation, if there was any question that I may have missed, he would actually be the one that would know what to ask. I'm afraid I'm not exactly well versed in the manners of the law, but the young lady who passed, she had similar markings to Lavender, which is very concerning to me. Apparently, nobody knew her in the town. She must have been new, but I just wanted to see if maybe there was something that he could ask you that I may have missed, if you wouldn't mind.
Certainly. Would you mind making the introduction?
She gives a bit of an awkward smile and says, I would love to. Follow me, please. And with that, she walks over to Bjorn and she's walking, with her head up, back straight, very professionally. And when she's behind him, she's going to very gently tap his shoulder with her palm and say, Mr. Hagman, if I could have a minute of your time. This is Carol. I had spoken to you about the previous evening regarding what I had learned. And her particular employee, Miss Lavender, you may know her.
Yes, ma'am. And I look, would you two, and I look around, is there like a bench, like a picnic bench or somewhere we can sit, all three of us kind of like?
Sure. There's probably like a bunch of those like log benches because like, a lot of trees are felled in the area recently.
Yeah. I just kind of motion. Would you two care to join me over here?
Certainly.
I just kind of look at her when she says that all cold, like, you know what I mean? Glance, and then I go and I sit down and I just motion for the two to kind of like sit on whatever, wherever they want to, probably to my left, And I pull out, damn, did they even have notepads back then with like charcoal pencils and everything?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I just kind of like pull it out and I kind of turn like to face the two a little bit, like on my side. And so you work at the Silver Dollar? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I take care of many of the employees at that establishment.
When you say take care, what exactly does that entail?
Well, and she looks over seeing Margaret in her habit. It's like, look out for the well-beings of the girls, work schedules. I do a little work on the side too if we need someone to, and then she kind of trails off.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you do medicinal work? Like health-related work?
I mean, we recently met a good friend, Mrs. Smithson, who has been taking care of that. And then she kind of looks over to Margaret.
Sorry, I'm writing this down. Mrs. Smithson. And I look at Margaret. You familiar with this lady, Sister Miller?
Smithson. She corrects him.
Smithson. Oh, sorry. Have you met her?
Yes, I am familiar with her. I met Carol at the Silver Dollar when I was introducing myself and providing some medicinal services to the ladies at the Silver Dollar. That is when I met her employee, Lavender, who had very, very similar marks to the young woman we found in the river.
So just out of character. So I'm talking to Carol now, and Mrs. Smithson, some lady who's been doing medicinal checks on the ladies of the night.
Mrs. Smithson is Margaret's alias. Out of
Oh,
character.
okay. Jesus Christ. I apologize. Okay. I mean, I don't know that. Okay. I'd like to talk to the Smithson maybe. And I just like write down the name on there. And then I'm like, because I don't know it's her alias, right? I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now you found the marks on Lavender. How long ago did you find them?
Oh, well, she noticed them a couple of weeks ago, but they just didn't seem to heal themselves the way normal marks have. And then it was obvious when she was plying her trade, and we do regular inspections, and
she's the only one.
The only one of us. Although I can't imagine this being an isolated incident.
What makes you say that you can't imagine that? Have there been speak your mind, anything that your intuition has been sparked with?
Well, the way Lavender was acting the night when she supposedly had it, I've seen others act like that before. I've seen Lavender act like that before, especially around, and she looks like as if to utter something, and then seems like something just stopped her from saying it.
I'm going to see that. I'm going to eyeball Miller, sister, because I feel like even though she's angry at me, Sister Miller and Gregory and I kind of have like this bond of what we survived out there. You know what I mean? And I think we probably, I don't know, Sister Miller, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would almost assume that like since we have survived like pretty traumatic shit together, we have that keen ability where we can read each other's body language. You know what I mean? And I'm going to like do the one eye glare at her, like a switch is turned on in my head. I'm like reading how she reacts to seeing that in me. Does that make sense? Like I'm trying to like show her that, okay, my intensity has peaked up now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her for her response to it. Like, is she doing the no, or is she doing the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Sister Miller, she's always kind of watching body language. And when she sees that change in Bjorn, she just gives the most subtle of nods as if to say that she acknowledges that something strange is going on.
Okay. And I'm just going to like nod back at her, to which he tells me, okay, it's time to do my job. I'm going to turn and look at her for a second, and I'm going to try to read her. Like you said, she shut down. I'm trying to read like, is she protecting herself? Is she scared? Or try to read her language?
It's almost as if like she was talking to you about something 1 second, and then like immediately started acting like she just woke up from a long sleep and got the grogginess going on. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. What were we talking about again?"
You were talking about you noticed something when others started acting like Lavender when you found the bites on her.
Oh yes, and then I know it always seemed to happen around, and then that flash happens again, and then she like kind of leans over and starts clutching her head. I'm sorry, something in my head. I feel a little faint here, and she kind of like adjusts her posture on the log.
I look at Miller for a second. Now I'm just like giving her like a quizzical, like what the hell look, and I'm like looking at her for a second. I'm just trying to, am I able to like, I guess out of character, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but like in character, am I able to like tell like she's trying to fake it to get out of talking about this, or is she like seriously like seems?
That sounds like a psychology roll.
That's what I figured. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. I was like, okay, like I'm kind of scared right now as a player though, but like let's go ahead and roll psychology. My psychology is 55. Come on. 32, so I made it.
Yes, her reaction seems genuine, and not like she seems like she actually has like a headache or feels faint or something, and it just took her like a little bit to get back around to the topic. Like something like was almost clouding her memory, and it's just really weird that it just keeps snapping to like that whenever she goes down a particular memory lane.
Listen, Carol, her name Carol, right? That's her name. I need you to focus right now. And I put like gently her hand in mine, you know what I mean? And like with both my hands. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, can you remember about what was going on around that time when you noticed the marks?
I will allow her to make a willpower roll, actually.
Awesome.
she starts thinking really, really hard. And then, well, it was one night I heard, the sounds of the trade, and then it just intensified like it sometimes does. And quite often I like to make sure that nothing's happening to the girls. So I took a peek in and I saw, and then she like kind of like sits down again, and like her nose starts like this little trickle of blood is coming out of it. And she's like clutching at her eyes. And it's like, you could tell she's in a lot of pain, and I'm going to need sanity rolls from the two of you.
Yeah, I would think, because I need a sanity roll like right now in real life from hearing that, dude. Let me get a sanity roll here real quick. Sorry, I gotta look at what my sanity is now. My sanity is 49. God, come on, make it, Bjorn. Oh, I failed.
The same. I got a 49 out of 52.
Oh, Margaret, you would pass, but Bjorn, that would be
1D100. 4. Ouch.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty significant. You definitely realize something out of the ordinary, and almost like a, I don't want to use the term supernatural lightly, but that feeling you got when you're trying to investigate to witnesses back in your homeland following that one case.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm going to, like, Bjorn like stands up all suddenly and like pushes her hand away and like backs off like 5 feet and like puts his hand on his holster for a second, you know what I mean? And he's just like rabidly like jaw clenching, just like staring at her intently like he's fucking scared shitless.
And she's looking back at you with these like really terrified eyes. And Margaret, you notice that there's like palm marks on her face in blood, where like she's just trying to get something to stir, and then just it's almost like she had an aneurysm, but she still seems like with it for the most part.
So Margaret, seeing obviously Carol's pain and then the nosebleed and Bjorn's reaction, she's going to kind of, in a maternal way, put her hand on Carol's forehead, feeling that it's very warm. And she's going to kind of turn Carol's face towards her so that she could assess the nosebleed. And she's going to kind of snap at Bjorn and be like, Mr. Hagman, put that weapon away. What is the matter with you? This woman is absolutely rattled, and you're out here with your weapon drawn.
Like he had it like pulled out of his holster like a little bit. He didn't pull it out. And like he stops for a second. He looks at her, like Margaret, all intently. And you can, I don't know if you want to roll a psychology roll or not, but you can see like, he's fucking panicked, dude. Like his eyes are just like fucking beating and his forehead's all sweating. And he just like slowly like just puts it into the, like puts a little bit of it into the holster and like clips the leather strap over the hammer that keeps it locked in there. And there's a second where he's just like looking at her and he's like frozen. You know what I mean? He's like totally frozen right now. And you just hear him like, like he's trying to talk right now. And then there's a moment where he just turns and walks in the opposite direction than like they were at, and you just see him like beelining for his horse, and like gets on his horse and he goes off.
So she doesn't get it. Margaret obviously just is shaking her head, and she goes, for goodness sake, it's a drop or two of blood. You'd think he'd have seen that in all his days. In fact, I know he has. And she just takes the sleeve, of her gown, and she's like wiping Carol's face, and she says, are you well enough to stand? I'd like to take you inside so we can wash your face, maybe lay you down. You look very, very panicked at the moment.
And she lets you kind of like help her rise and clean her up, but like she's just like looking at you with like very much a lot of fear in her eyes, and you're basically you're able to like lead her around, but she's like, she won't take her eyes off you, and she's stumbling over sticks and stuff as you lead her away to like the back room that you kind of used as like a ad hoc hospital past few months. But yeah, you clean her up and everything, but she looks like she's had some terrible mental trauma happen.
So Margaret is still just very confused. She kind of just keeps checking her temperature. And she goes, Carol, are you well enough to speak? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Did Mr. Hagman scare you?
And then like you see like she starts crying, and you see like a capillary in her eye kind of like, you don't see it burst, but you just see like the orb of the eye just kind of slowly filling with blood, and she just starts crying and just kind of like puts her arm into her crook of her elbow and just starts gently sobbing into it.
So Margaret just kind of holds her and very tightly hugs her, puts kind of Carol's head on her own shoulder and is rubbing her back, saying, there, dear. Don't worry. No one's going to hurt you. We're going to protect you. Don't worry. Anything that you know, I promise you, Mr. Hagman is a safe person to tell it to. And it's okay if you don't want to talk about it now. We'll be here to listen whenever you are ready. If you need us, you know where I am. I can tell you when Mr. Hagman sleeps. You can always go to him. We'd never let anything happen to you, Carol. You, the girls, we're here for you.
And she just like gently sobs into her arm and just buries her head more. And she's probably like laying down on like the bed pallet in the area that you put some straw on when you need to see patients. And she's just like the camera kind of like irises out on her as she just starts just weeping softly and kind of just nods along with your words. So after that heartwarming scene, let's bring it over to Gregory again. Gregory, after the events of the morning, you're walking back to your home with your family, and your eldest daughter, Abigail, kind of grabs your elbow and kind of is indicating for you to like hang back, like she wants a word with you. We haven't had much screen time for her, so I figure this is a good opportunity.
Yes, Abigail, what is it?
Well, Father, things have been progressing around here. And, you know, some of the people in town have been talking, and I hear there is some sort of, I think the term is shindig happening next week.
Yes, and
well, as you know, I'm a woman now. I would like to go. I would like to, I would like to do my part and help more with the house and contribute it. But eventually, Father, I need to start thinking about meeting a husband. This could be one of those rare opportunities.
At this point, Gregory, he like blinks for a moment, then he's like, then he's like, you see like his face sort of just like, oh yeah, that's something I have to think about now. And he's
yeah. So like, what's going on in Gregory's mind? Like this is your like, she's always been your little girl, but she's like more than 16 now. She's pretty much a woman of the time, and she's basically like asking your blessing to go out and
go out courting.
Yeah, go
or get courted, as we're saying. It's so he is definitely he like in the back of his head he knew this was probably going to happen at some point, but actually being here and everything, he sort of forgot about that part. And so now he's just like, oh, yeah, now I have to think about getting my daughter's husbands with this town. And he's just like, I don't really have a lot of choices here, do I, to find good husbands?
I mean, it'd be easier than trying to find a wife in this camp.
So, yeah, Gregory he looks at his daughter, Abigail, and says, I see. It is true that you are that.
And you see like your wife kind of look back at you, and she says, "Come on, kids," and has your daughter Mary in one arm and has Mark in the other, and you're just basically watching the rest of your family proceed on. It's like, wow, like it's getting smaller, but it could get bigger too. It's just like one of those weird things about being a parent and letting like your kids grow up. And it's just, I'm not sure if it's like overwhelming for Greg or.
Yeah, because Gregory, it is definitely, he is right now, he is like, this could be a good thing, but so far what I've seen out here isn't that great. So it could be good, but it might be bad. And he's got all this other stuff going on, trying to talking about the dead woman they just had a funeral for earlier. They don't know what killed her, could still be out there. So there's a whole mess of emotions going on in Gregory right now. So he eventually, after like a minute of like silence, and he's like tries to speak, and eventually he says, "Okay, you do have my permission to attend the dance, but no, he won't do.
It would be chaperoned, of course, Father.
Yes, and I'll see if I can get Johann to keep an eye on things. On top of that, just better than him than anyone. It's better than nobody. Just for my peace of mind. Just remember, it's not quite when things are a bit wilder out here, and sometimes when men when their blood gets up, sometimes they lose themselves. So I just want to remind you that you have to be able to watch yourself. You have to watch out more often.
Of course, Father. And aren't you going to be there with Mother as well?
Well, of course. But I can't. I only have two eyes, and I can't keep track of everything.
Yes. And then she kind of goes like into a litany of all the stuff that she's been doing to prove that she's an adult now, how Mother's teaching her to cook. She irons all your clothes, does a lot of the washing down with the women at the camp up north of you guys. And it's just like all this stuff that she's just rattling off and just proving how much of a help she's been and how she's ready to manage a household of her own.
Yeah. So yeah, as Gregory is just quietly making in his head, he's trying to make it start. Okay, so if I go along there and I keep the pistol on me, I might be able to sneak it in. But maybe I could carry the rifle in just in case. I'll have to think about it. So yeah, he is like he is not really agreeing, but he is in his head. He's still going. Okay, he's wondering. Well, how can I make sure to defend myself in case things go wrong somehow? Because he is again still just like he is convinced that there is something watching them at times, and even when there's a whole bunch of people out, he still gets like that itchy feeling in the back of his neck.
Yes, and speaking of watching people, let's cut further into the night where Bjorn, Gregory, and Russ, and is anyone else being invited to this little confrontation?
Not that I can think of.
Well, the three of you are kind of like at the edge of town looking at the small shack with a single candle burning through the window. You know it as the Land SA office, and you're watching as you see the silhouette of presumably Mr. Brewster, who is writing in his books.
So I look at Gregory. Is there anyone around? I'm looking like, do we see anyone around, or we just see him in his office on his own?
At this point, like earlier, you saw that Henry Greer was in there, and they had some words, and there was some discussion. It seemed to be mostly about the planning for Saturday's get together, and like you heard like dollar signs and figures being put around, and how much they think they're going to make versus how much it's going to cost them to put it down. And there's some argument about how much they should be investing. But at some point you watch as Henry leaves and goes into the adjacent building.
I look at Gregory, and then I look at Freeman, and I'm like, no better time than now. And I seem very like high strung still, like I'm very like intense looking right now. I just kind of like walk to the door, and I open the door, and I go in with these two, and I close it behind me.
If historical APs with a supernatural flair are your jam, then The Ultimate Evil is just right for you. With inspiration pulled from the Satanic Panic, The Ultimate Evil takes place in the 80s as four young men reunite to discover the mysteries that surround their childhood mentor's death.